Hello. We continue working on our sleeve. Just check in, make sure it's everything what you want is exactly, it looks exactly like mine. And yeah, check your vent as well and press your seam, make sure it's all pressed. And what is nice, if you are also put it like that and just check how the sleeve is sits, and that is perfect. Also, if you've got any seam allowance which is sticking like that, just cut them, you don't need them. So important, very important that obviously your armhole follows and matches all around. Now you notice I've got red thread going around my head of the sleeve. Now it's very important. I'm going to show you a little trick, and it's really works very well. So if you follow exactly the steps, it really works. Also, I know it's about preparation, and I know it's about, maybe it takes longer time than usual, but trust me, if you spend a little bit more time, if you prepare things, then your sleeves will be inserted so beautifully if you just follow exactly what I tell you. And I know it might take extra 1 hour, but it will just worth it. Now, what I did here, it's on the right side, after the fitting, if you need to do any alterations to the sleeve, so that's the time to do the alterations, and then you mark your new tucking line. So for example, you need to take it in, take it out from the head of the sleeve, then you will do that. So this one, it's you will put your machine stitching, which is you make your machine stitching slightly big. Well, actually is maybe 3 times bigger. So I put a number 4, my machine. So yours one could be up to number 5. So you need to test a little bit and experiment, which, what number you need to change your stitching, how long your stitching would be. Also, it depends of the thickness of the fabric. Sometimes the thinner fabric, you can be on the smaller stitching. The bigger and the thicker fabric like this one have to be increased up to 5, number 5. So the little trick of this, I start past my seam here. So I start on that place where I pass. If you see the seam allowance, that's my seam. So if I just show on that side, maybe you can see more this side, my seam allowance here. So can you see I stitched it over seam allowance? Okay. So start with the seam allowance on that side. So it goes to under sleeve first, from under sleeve there, following my tucking line. So again, bigger stitchings, start from here, following my tucking line, and just following the shape of the sleeve, and go right when past my seam here, and then go to our seam allowance on the other side. Yeah, so then the next line, you do 5 millimeters apart, parallel to this one. And again, the trick of that is you start on the same position, the same place, but parallel to your first line. And again, try not to reverse your sleeve, not to flip it over. So you actually start in the same place. So your top thread will be the same, both at the same time. So the bottom threads will be underneath. Okay. So again, you start from that place, parallel to your lines, to first line, 5 millimeters apart, and then you finish in the same place. Yeah. So that's very important. You start from the same place, and you finish in the same place, and do not flip. So now, when you obviously done that, the sometimes it happens. I try to do that, go over my stitchings, but it creates the thickness, and sometimes when you pull your threads, it breaks. So you have to be very gentle to do that. So if I from the bottom, so the bottom thread, that's why it's on the wrong side. and that easier for you to remember. So it's a bottom thread, it's easier to pull, and you will gently just pull that. And I know sometimes because of the seam allowance, it can be very, very tricky to pull in that area, and that's where the snips is. Snips your thread. So that's why you pull in from the both side. But if you're finding that's extremely difficult, then absolutely fine if you want to start from your seam. So you fold your seam allowance to one side and then you machine it there. And you can do that as well. I like it when it goes over because it sits better. And and then you just get very gently, take your time, don't pull it too harshly, and then you just bring that, make it your, and you can gather, see that, and then you can do that side as well. So you can do it both sides, so you don't have to really pull it all your head of the sleeve. So you can be to that, and then you start on this side, and when you, as soon as you start doing it, see that actually goes much easier. And because it's the bottom threads on your sewing machine, it's actually easier to pull it, that thread, instead of the top thread. And the way his machine is stitching is the top thread creates the loop, and that's why it's very difficult sometimes to pull that thread. So that's why I'm explaining to you a way it needs to be done. It will work for definite. Okay, just be gentle with the pulling the threads. That's all. So can you see? I can gather my head of the sleeve. Okay, see that? Being gathered. Okay, so I'm not going to gather too much yet, because what I need to do is I need to find the measurement of my armhole, and for that we'll go and measure the armhole first. I'm going to come back to you in the next video, so when you've done this one, I will explain to you how to measure your armhole in order to know the size of your sleeve head. I'll see you next video. Bye.